Well, a couple things. So to create this presentation, I actually did a quick survey with 40 family, colleagues, and friends. And I asked them specifically, hey, when I say artificial intelligence, what comes to your mind? Obviously, the number one thing that comes to people's mind is the killer from Skynet. And then the other one is I am bored, resistant is futile. Then the third one, interesting enough, is metrics. With that being said, I call this set to my friends pessimists. Obviously, there was some of them that was kind-hearted and actually see the future with a bright light. And they will mention about R2D2, C3PO, and obviously data from the Star Trek The Next Generation, right? And some of the guys I'm not going to judge. I am not going to judge. Talking about Scarlett, the AI intelligent computer system played by Scarlett Johansson. All right, for this set of friends, I call them optimist. And then, of course, there are several of them. Really, they mention Bender. If you are familiar with the Futurama, obviously he's a sidekick of a main character called Fry. So for this set of friends, I call them Fry. With that being said, there is a good portion of my friends are realists. And so here's the reality in terms of talking about artificial intelligence. And they say, Pam, you know, you're talking about AI, are you talking about what's going to happen, what's happening right now? I say, yeah, you can share with me in terms of what is happening right now. And when I say artificial intelligence, that comes to your mind. And one of them actually mentioned this, which is a robot that kicked a soccer ball to President Obama when he visited Japan in 2014. And a couple of them mentioned about the robots that can actually go to a very difficult places in the more remote area, you know, climb the different terrains. And for the disaster relief effort that's created by Boston Dynamics. And of course, you are obviously very familiar with the autonomous driving, and there's no sound. Is it possible?
This is the future. Yeah, she was like, is there no one driving that car?
I knew it. I was waiting for it.
So that's how future will be like in terms of autonomous driving. Obviously, it is automated by artificial intelligence or the machine learning. Kalen indicated that he doesn't like the word AI as a buzzword, and the subcategories of AI is machine learning. A lot of stuff that we talk about specifically is we teach the machine to learn about behavior. So with that being said, these machines I just shared with you, especially the ones that's Boston Dynamics and Waymo, which is by Google, they are machines that demonstrate a certain level of intelligence. So what I want to do today, talking about AI in terms of marketing, I want to give you a sense in terms of what people think about artificial intelligence. Perception is not necessarily reality. Obviously, that's not worry about the Hollywood version of it, but really focus on what AI can do today, right? So before I can go there, I want to talk about the definitions and also the different types of AI. Let's get that down. We are all on the same expectation and the same page. Then I will go a little bit deeper to share with you a specific examples that you can think about how that will apply to your marketing efforts. My presentation is more client-centric. I've been on the client side for about 20 years, so it's not necessary for agencies specifically, but you can get some ideas in terms of what you can do to have that kind of conversation with your clients. All right, Let's start. Am I talking too fast? Am I good? Definition of AI, right here. Very quickly, just make sure everybody is on the same page with me. Intelligence exhibited by machines and or software. Okay, this is Wikipedia's definition. I like it very, very much. It's very simple. It's very easy to remember. But for the marketing side of things, I want to add one more word, software, and I will explain to you later. Obviously, intelligence, right? So intelligence is to showcase that the machine can think or behave like humans. And there are 3 different types at this time, at very high level, 3 different types. The first one is called narrow AI, general AI, and the super AI. I want to talk about this so you can get a sense of it when you have some sort of conversation with anybody, you understand where they're coming from, especially when you talk to academic pundits. They probably will focus on, the long term in terms of what the AI can do. But there is a short term what AI can do, so let's talk about that. Obviously, the narrow AI or the weak AI is really something that AI can do a specific task, and they can do it very, very well and competently. Everything I say right here is actually narrow AI, right? The Google Translate, which is the natural language processing, is a narrow AI. They do one specific task and does very, very well. Right, even IBM Watson, you think is very smart, but again, is doing one specific task, responding to our answers, doing data analytics. They do it very, very well. Series, autonomous car driving, everything that we see so far, up to date, is narrow AI. Right? The next step is they call it artificial general intelligence, AGI, or they call it strong AI, or human-like AI. So there are different terms out there. It's basically the artificial intelligence can generalize, kind of like human beings, can be situational, can understand what the situation they are in and then make necessary adjustments, but more like a human in multiple different tasks. We are not there yet, right? So if you hear anything in terms of general AI, this is what it was talking about. We are not there yet. Obviously, the next step, this one keeps Elon Musk up at night, right? This is something that super AI, which is they are so much better than the human beings. They can do anything better than humans can do. Now let's put all these 3 into some sort of time continuum, so you can get a sense of where we are. We are on the cusp of just starting. There is a history about AI. You can do the YouTube, and you kind of read through it, or listen to it, or watch it. It really started in the early 1950s. I don't want to go into the details, but the huge progress and the breakthrough literally happened in the past about 10 years. Okay, so we are just starting. Nobody knows when and how we're going to get to that stage, which is there's a more generalized type of AI that can really act like a human. Unless there's massive breakthrough from here, there, we don't know when. If that's a massive breakthrough in the middle, it will accelerate that technology advancement. But a lot of people, the pundits actually predict somewhere around 2040 or 2030 that we will see something like a general AI. Nobody knows. I don't. Okay? So get a sense in terms of the 3 types of AI. Another thing I want to make sure we are on the same page and you get a sense of it, it's very important when you're talking about specific trends. Artificial intelligence is a trend, it's not a fad. This is going to stay, right? A buzz or a fad the buzz or fad is something that, it's very popular, but it will go away in a short period of time. But AI is going to stay, and I will explain to you why. But if you look at AI is not similar to robot. It can be robot, it doesn't have to be. AI can be in the context, in the form of software, right? AI doesn't have to have some sort of robot to carry a function. For example, you will see artificial limbs that actually have intelligence built into it. When you bend, when you forward, when you move your hands, the limbs will actually align with your nerves and what you think. That does not have a specific robot that's associated with it. Does that make sense? But you have a certain kind of intelligence. So for marketing, we are not building a marketing robot to replace you. We are not building a marketing chips. What that AI is going to be embedded and to help the marketing people is in software. So in the form software, in the form of bot, sales agent, marketing assistant. That's what you need to think as a marketer for the AI in the next couple of years. It's in the form of bot, sales agent, and the marketing assistant. And I will give you a specific example. With that being said, what is the purpose of AI for marketing? Two. One is automate a specific process for you. Okay? It will take over email, automate existing process, or enable something you cannot do, period. For example, Amazon's recommendations, right? You buy certain type of products, it recommends something for you. That is not something that can manually be done by humans because it requires a lot of data to predict what you're going to buy next. So that's a new usage. So AI has two functions. One is automate. The other one is enable new usage that you cannot do before. So understand these are the two purposes will help you determine what area would you like to automate or would you like to use the AI function. Is that helpful so far? So I explained the definition. I talked about three types of AI. I talked about AI in forms of bots, sales agent, marketing assistant. I also share with you in terms of the purpose of AI so you can give some thought with these two kind of premises to determine what are the areas that you need to use AI. So far, so good? You guys are good. You guys are following. Awesome. All right. One thing, don't worry about the slide. It's very busy. I put it right there to show I'm sophisticated. Kidding. What I want to talk about is very important, and I don't think in the past couple of presentations I have seen that they focus on this. And it doesn't matter what kind of channel, marketing channel you use, and it doesn't matter how you do your marketing outreach. It's very important that you understand your customer's journey. Whatever I do in terms of content planning, even social media effort, it starts with your buyer's persona and also how you guide your buyer's journey. Does that make sense? So I have two slides to share with you in terms of two types of buyer's journey. This is more B2B centric. I want to apologize for the folks who are actually more B2C. Right, so if you look at this customer journey, it's really talking about from the time they're aware of the problem, you help them, help me find something, right? And then move down to educate, and then move down to the funnel that you buy. Meaning it's awareness, education, selection, onboarding, and then you to profit. This is more B2B centric and type of content planning. But in a way, I understand my customer's journey. This is the stages that it goes through. This is the content they might need. If I actually understand that, the next stage I can do is I can identify what are some of the tools for each stages. Then with the tools or the software that we use, we identify our MarTech stack. Then we can see within the tools that we use, do they actually have some sort of AI built into it. For example, if you use Salesforce has Einstein. I don't know if you've heard about that, but it's an AI feature that's being built into the CRM tool, right? So understand your customer journey, understand the stages, understand the MarTechs or the tools that you use, and identify what are some of the existing vendors or platforms that you use already have some sort of AI or machine learning features that are built into it to help you. That requires you to have a conversation with your vendors. Same type of effort, now different visuals. This one to show basically a stage of the content that you probably need, but this one is basically saying that, hey, by the time that your users or your prospects are aware of your product, they usually spend a lot of time educating themselves, especially on the more complex B2B product that they have to buy. And during that education process, it's like potty training. You know, it's one step forwards, two step backwards, kind of like you're buying a flat panel TV. By the time you're thinking about buying and the time that you make an effort to buy on Black Friday with a huge discount, you know, it might be a 6-month period, right? During that 6-month period, you're probably going back and forth. You talk to your husband about it, you talk to your friends about it, you go to Best Buy a couple times, you go to Costco. That is that whole education area. That's why the circle is bigger. Does that make sense? So see, in terms of there's multiple ways to showcase your customer journey. With that being said, what I want to do, I said AI in the form of bots, sales agents, marketing assistants. To be honest with you, if you look at this specific stage, AI can be used in data analytics. That's a given. There's actually 2 exhibitors outside. One is Grainer, talking about data science, right? And they talk about using AI or machine learning to actually show you a specific data analytics. And that will apply to a different stage. So data analytics using AI is given. There's another vendor, which is outside, KPI Soft, same thing. KPI means key performance indicator. Let's assume you have a key performance indicator that you always do a manual update to your management. And the KPI Soft, I talked to them yesterday, indicated they actually have automatic process and using AI to track not just your KPI, but also provide an insight based on your actual data to give you certain bullet points to show you where you are compared with a KPI. So AI using for data analytics is given. What I want to share with you is some examples how we can use AI, like I said, in the form of bot, sales agent, marketing assistants. And there are 4 things I want to talk about. One is AI-based to create content. Can you use AI to create content? We'll talk about that. Can you use AI or bot to do creative development? Okay. The other one, sales agents using AI to respond to email automatically, and the sales agent to qualify leads. So let's talk about this. This is from Washington Post. They created an AI-based or machine learning type of bot called Heliograph. And this is what Heliograph will do. Editor will create a narrative in terms of what are specific content they want to write. That narrative will include specific keywords or the key phrases. So the search part of it is still applied. Then they will hook the Heliograph to trusted resources. The important word is trusted, right? You don't want to hashtag fake news, but trusted resources. And the Heliograph will identify the relevant data source. They will pull from those data sources, and they will match the data, and they will write a piece of content. Right there is a content creation. You created a specific blog post based on a specific key phrases, and they actually did this during the election. Obviously, you know, when the election happened, especially even Super Tuesday, they have to cover 50 states. There's a lot of local elections. and depending on the results, they don't have a lot of main power to cover so many local specific elections. So they actually create a different scenario. If this candidate wins, these are the possible things they will say. If that candidate wins, these are the possible things that they will say. And they actually have machine created. So they did that. It started actually in 2016. So that's during the election years. They generated they created 850 articles in the past 1 year and generated 500,000 views. Washington Post is going to tell you that they are not going to replace the real journalist. I agree with them, right? But a lot of times the very niche, very localized type of blog posts that if a machine can do it so much faster and effective than human, why not? Again, it's not replacing the real journalism, but it's a matter of automate and scale the process. Right? This is by a product. By the way, all the examples I use, I'm not associated with any vendors. I'm using them because they did a good job telling or illustrate a user case study. Does that make sense? I'm not associated with them. I'm not promoting. I'm not asking you to buy them. That's not my point. It's just for you to understand the AI's impact. This one is another platform called Quill. And I want to show you really quickly, this is one of their product platforms. Ever since they actually developed multiple different kinds of platforms, can everybody hear me? And I'm dropping this headset. Let me put that back in the right place so I can talk. All right, is that good? How is my hair? That thing's about girls and women. It's like, you know, I have this on. I was like, oh, how do I look? Do I still look good? Sorry, sidetracked. So about Quill, they generate multiple different kinds of platforms that use natural language processing. So this is a graph. Okay. Now, you identify what a graph is. It's a continuous type of trends. Then you click on Write Narrative. Machine, read this continuous graph. Write something for me. Did. Literally. The next one, it was that, you know what? How to read this paragraph is way too long. Way too long. Well, why don't you just give me some bullet points? Boom. Again, it's not replacing humans per se. It's making, marketing researchers' job easier. So now marketing researchers can actually look at this and make adjustments and make edits, right? Because it's already been written as a draft. So that is on the content side of things. This one, I need your help. So, McKinsey Japan in 2017 created Artificial Intelligence Creative Director Initiative. Does anybody hear about this? Some probably did. All right, so McKinsey was like curious, very curious. I want to see if artificial intelligence or machine or bot can develop creative concept for commercial. So they don't have to rely on creative director. I know, that's sad. Like, job security, really? Job security? So they entered all the award-winning commercials in the past 10 years in Japan. They entered, all the commercials, the selection criteria, why they won, and all the narratives into that bot. Okay? Then they had a contest, AI versus human. This is a very famous, apparently, creative director in McCann. He did tons of commercials. So they say, fine, why don't we just actually find a client who will be interested doing this ad? It's going to be ad for Clorox, which is a chewing gum. The key things they want to convey is the instant fresh bread that lasts 10 seconds. Okay, that's a key takeaway. I am going to show you 2 commercials. You're going to tell me which one is created by AI. You ready?
Cool.
Sound. Okay, that is interesting. Next one.
速攻口すっきり10分長続きクロレッツミートタブ
Okay, that I think the last statement is, your breath will last 10 seconds. I think. So, all right, boys and girls, raise your hand if you think the first one is created by AI. There's no right. I'm not going to punish you. Raise your hand when you think the second one. Okay. All right. Sorry, it's the first one. All right. With that being said, McKim actually did one step further. They did a focus group testing. So now we have 2. One is created by the bot, the other is created by human. Well, let's do a focus group testing and see which one actually, performed better or be liked by their target audience. Which one, guys? So is it the AI that actually that one, or is the human? Come on, let's do it again. Now you talk. Close game. Human barely won. 54% versus 46. Okay, imagine that bot can learn, a couple times. I wonder what the next results will be. But they did that. I thought that was kind of interesting, right? Now we're talking, like I said, the AI stuff, the data analysis is part of it. What I want to show you is content. What I want to show you is creative development. There are things that AI can do as a part of the marketing spectrums of work that all of you are doing to some extent. But I still don't think they are taking over your job because we are a whole lot more smarter than them at this point, as of today. All right. This one is not AI per se, but they build the algorithm. Okay, but it's not AI per se, but they build the algorithm. Right? For longest time, what we really care a lot of time is brand consistency. Have you noticed with the personalized Coke that was in 2012, you can find a Coke with your name on it? Why do they do that? It's a personalization, right? So it's not just email email personalization. They take it one step further, how to take the standardized product and personalize it. Same thing here. So there is a conflict. For longest time, for us, a lot of traditional marketers like me, we've been trained on the brain consistency. Now we need to think maybe a little bit differently in terms of our packaging. I'm not saying that change it completely, but this is just another way of looking at it. They only have a dozen patterns. Imagine human have to create, you have to hire a design agency to create 7 million combinations? Really? You think that's gonna happen? No way, right? So a machine, the algorithm use a dozen patterns, they are able to create 7 million combinations. All right, fun so far? Okay? Good. Okay, next. What's next? I'm going to show you this. You have to watch the whole thing and pay attention.
Hi, I'm Alda Quintanilla, one of the account executives here at Conversica. For those of you not familiar with Conversica, we are a conversational AI technology company. We help companies win more customers by automating the lead follow-up process with artificial intelligence. What I want to show you is one of my favorite conversations that our AI sales assistant, Rachel Brooks, had with a prospect. I think it really showcases the power and intelligence of our technology. Here, Rachel follows up with Connie after stopping by our booth at Dreamforce in 2016. Rachel is smart enough to know where that lead came from and refers to it in her introduction, then asks if she would like more information. Rachel's sole purpose in life is to vet out the interest level of a prospect and set up a meeting with a sales rep. Rachel sends a follow-up email. You will notice that the email has changed. Each email that Rachel sends out will dynamically change from the subject, the body, and the question she asked. Marketers are going to love the fact that they don't have to create thousands of templates for the AI, nor are these plug-and-play templates. Rachel is actually smart enough to write her own emails. She's able to interpret sentiment, intent, and those key words and terms that are going to be unique to your business and industry. Rachel follows up once again, and this time Connie responds back. And she says to reach out to her in 2017, maybe around end of January or early February. So Rachel pauses herself and patiently waits. In the meantime, this lead changes several hands. But that doesn't faze Rachel. On February 8th, Rachel reaches out to Connie once again. And this time, unfortunately, she receives an out-of-office response saying that Connie is out of the office until May 31st. So Rachel waits once more. And this time, she actually receives a response from Connie saying that she remembers Conversica and would like to speak to a rep. Rachel does now two things. She writes back to Connie, introduces who her sales rep is going to be, provides a link to book a meeting with the sales rep, and requests what the best number is going to be. Simultaneously, she notifies the sales rep, letting him know that he now has a hot lead. What I love about this conversation is that from lead to opportunity, it took almost a year, and it was all done without a single human. This lead could have easily been lost in the shuffle, but with Rachel, it never slipped through the cracks. If you are interested in finding...
Is that amazing?
Welcome to Detroit.
Is that pretty amazing? It's like that whole thing. Like if I have several B2B clients and I work with them on the sales automation and that will just go through. Nobody will follow up, right? So this Conversica is kind of interesting tool. In addition, they actually further refined their process because they have quite a bit of B2B clients that actually use them, and they also use machine learning to actually optimize and learn from that. Okay. Now, speaking of a conversational marketing, which is something we'll be talking about later this afternoon, that this is one example I can tee up for Tony. Another one I want to talk about is drift. I don't know if anybody heard about drift, but you will see a lot of bots that actually, when you open any website, there's a little bot that say, you know what, we're here to help you. Do you need any help? All right, great. Let's check this one out.
Welcome to Drift. Drift is a messaging app to help you grow your business. It makes it really easy for you to talk to your site visitors and your customers, which you know are the most important part of your company.
I don't know why it's not running.
Once Drift is
So let me do it again.
Welcome to Drift. Drift is a messaging app to help you grow your business. It makes it really easy for you to talk to your site visitors and your customers.
This is not good.
You know,
But let me summarize really quickly for everybody. Drift is actually an AI-based bot and has been incredibly popular and been implemented into multiple different websites. And they have a tendency, you have to build a workflow behind the scenes to actually share and identify what are the possible questions that people might ask and how you want the bot to respond to the prospects when they ask specific type of questions. It's kind of very similar when you call the credit card company. You know, they actually have a kind of like a bot helping you help you in terms of go to different stages. This is very similar, but it's more AI driven, which is they apply to a machine learning and also embedded, and the bot will make changes in terms of what kind of question you're asking and also what kind of information that's needed. So that's Drift, DRIFT. You should check it out. Okay, but like I said, again, this is something that can be embedded into your system. Now let's look at another AI-based example.
Dreadful thing. So what we came up with.
I'll go back, start it again.
As a composer, writer's block is probably the most dreadful thing. So what we came up with is this algorithm that can compose a lot of music very fast and provide demos extremely fast to clients. AIVA is an artificial intelligence that composes music for films, TV shows, games, any kind of entertainment content. This is quite different from what's out there. What we're trying to do is create a deep learning algorithm that creates music at the same level of top composers, so music full of emotions.
Are you ready for AI-based music? Done by machine. So, now you can sense they are going to create marketing robots soon. No, I'm kidding. But these are the couple things I want to share with you in terms of the marketing side. What are different vendors, technologies, and the people are working on? Right? In addition, just data analytics that can be analyzing your data, your results using artificial intelligence. There are so much more to it. To the point, like Mike Hines from Microsoft yesterday was talking about
Amazon.
All right, go and shoot me when I'm done. You're right, Amazon. Sorry, Mike, I apologize. So Mike was talking about, yeah, you know what, to do this reward program, we are kind of boring. We give out only the gift card. All right, guess what? There's a tool called Alice. Okay, it's an AI-based tool to actually help you if you identify the prospects that you want to send a gift to. You enter that information into their platform. The tool will probe into those people's social media profile to understand their personal preferences, and using the 30,000 gift ideas in their database and make a personalized recommendation to you in terms of what kind of gift you should send to your prospect.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And you know, when you mentioned that the gift card is boring, I was like, Mike, I got some ideas for you. Anyway, but did you see the widespread of ideas that the technologies vendors or anybody's come up with creative ideas to help you? Imagine this, giving ideas, AI-based. The first time I saw it, I was like, what the hell? But they are doing incredibly well. They receive huge amount of funding. Okay, last one. Request for demo, in case you care. Right. All right, with that being said, are we doomed? My God, are we gonna have a job in 10 years? Man. So before I answer that question, if you think about it, the automation never really stopped. And that was the 1900s in the Ford factory. And the other one is 2015 in Tesla factory. Right? So automation is really part of life. Even with that, a lot of jobs were gone, but a lot of jobs also have been created. Right? And we have a lot of people doing a manually switch of the phone transaction way back then. Now it's all done by server, right? So automation is always part of a human's life, and we have this tendency that we get bored. Have you noticed? Like, oh, we're doing this, kind of boring task, that's automated. Okay, and same thing, we do our to-do list. Oh, you know what, this is kind of boring, let's find a different way, let's find an app to do that for us. We have this tendency of getting better and automate the process and make it more efficient and more productive. Yet at the same time, while we're doing that, new opportunity arise. It doesn't matter what happened, there is not one bot or one artificial being, if you will, can do everything from end to end. There's not even one platform can do everything from end to end, even though a lot of vendors will say, yes, their tools do that, but no, they don't. Right? So they still need humans to do what? We still need to set up a process. We need to source the the technologies that we need to use. We still need to take over at some point. We need to conduct a quality check. A lot of things that have been created, content that has been created by robots, still need humans to check it over and make sure everything's fine before it's published. Right? So that's a QA, the quality check. We still need to fill the gaps between different tech platforms. So, the bright side is job security. So it looks good. Yet at the same time, there's a lot of opportunities, right? Moving forward, there's a data scientist's job, right? Humongous amount of data that you need people to actually analyze. You need somebody to create the platforms. Digital marketing will continue to evolve. That will never stop. And Tony was talking about the presentation that he created last year cannot be used this year. I 100% concur, right? So it continues to learn the voice recognition, search optimization for voice that literally just started, right? And the new social media tools, AR, VR, I didn't touch in detail specifically because I really want to focus on machine learning and AI. Opportunities everywhere, right? So with that being said, I see the future to be bright. With that being said, what I really want to do very quickly is to summarize a couple things I talked about. I share with you in terms of the definition of AI. I share with you the 3 types of AI that's currently going on. We are currently on the cusp of artificial intelligence evolution. I show you multiple different examples as a marketing assistant, as a bot, as a sales agent, in terms of leveraging AI to help you to make your job a whole lot easier. The way that you should look at how to effectively optimize the AI, there's 3 ways. I'm just going to say it very quickly. First one is if you identify a pain point or the challenge. If you identify something, you need to source the new technology. Well, look at the technology vendors or technologies that you are going after, see if they have AI features built into it. That's one way, right? It's based on you have a pain point you want to address. Second is look at your existing MarTech platforms that you are using and identify, look at those tools that they are using and check with all the vendors, see if they have AI built into it, what kind of additional features that was embedded into the tools, and see if you can leverage that. Second way. Third, build your customer journey. Understand how your customer come to your website, what kind of marketing outreach that you do, what kind of steps they go through. Then look at your MarTech for each stages, identify if there's a gap. Kind of like, improvement, right? So these are the 3 ways from my perspective that you can explore to see if you can use AI to enhance or improve your process. So, this is me, shameless plug for like 5 seconds. Right? I wrote a book, actually 2. And to be honest with you, if you have insomnia, you cannot sleep at night, you can write my book, you'll read 2 pages, I guarantee you will fall asleep in no time. Well, I'm kidding. Actually, those 2 books are very niche. Both are actually speaking on the client side and it's more B2B driven. Is the content marketing is how to scale content across the regions. It's more about process and the improvements. And the effective sales enablement is really if you are marketers supporting sales, again, B2B. I don't want to disappoint all the B2C people, but it's a B2B side. If you are supporting sales as a marketers, if you are looking for ideas, how you can do your job better, that's what the second book about. By the way, you only have to read chapter 4 to 6. That is it. I feel like I'm a teacher, tell you what to read for your final. Anyway, so the majority of stuff I do tend to be content marketing, sales enablement, and account-based marketing. Anyway, so moving forward in the next 2 or 3 years or even longer, AI is going to be part of your journey, no matter what you do. With that being said, may the force be with you.